I don't be picking these videos beforehand. I just be going through and typing stuff in. And he's saying the same thing I'm saying, which means that great minds, which I consider mine to be great, is moving together, baby. We're moving together, baby. Yeah. All right. So let me sign in because I need to be adding these to the playlist and doing all this type of stuff, and they ain't allowing me to be the best I can be. Let's get some of this. Let's get the filter on real quick. Well, no. This who we need to listen to right here, and they might hit me with the
Scribe
the
is how
copyright later on, but who
turn
cares?
processes into
Well,
step-by-step guides. The
I don't mind
hardest
it.
part of any job, I don't care.
Think about the emotions that are associated with stress. It's anger, it's hatred, it's violence, it's hostility, it's judgment, it's competition.
Hold on, this might not be what we need. Hold on. I know what we're gonna go for. Neuroscience of focus. This is what I want y'all to look at. Here we go. How did I know? We're gonna skip forward a little bit, but
Take a moment and observe
wherever we go
everything
is
that's
gonna be
going on
great.
around you. The sounds, the smells.
Well, never mind. It's good.
The
From
sense-
the beginning. Let's go.
Take a moment and observe everything that's going on around you. The sounds, the smells, the sensations on your feet. Now, focus your attention back on this video. Those sensations didn't disappear as much as they were quieted by the brain in order to accomplish a specific task. In this case, focusing on this video. Focus, from a neuroscience perspective, is the brain's ability to selectively concentrate on one or more aspects of the environment while ignoring other aspects. To see how this works, I want to focus our attention to this specific region of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, or PFC. Now, the PFC in humans is the largest among mammals and is responsible for a wide
We had this class
range
once
of
before. We're
cognitive
gonna do it again,
functions, including morality, empathy, decision-making, and importantly to our discussion today, managing distractions. But if we look at a very specific region of the PFC, right here, this is called the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, or DLPFC, and yes, that is a mouthful, but this is the last area of the brain to fully mature. It takes until about age 25 for this to come fully online,
Yes, sir. Okay.
and it's involved in a wide range of executive functions. Executive functions make it possible to mentally play with ideas. So this is like taking time to think before acting, resisting temptations, meeting unanticipated challenges, and staying focused. The DLPFC, as far as we can tell, plays the largest role within the overall prefrontal cortex in managing relevant signals and suppressing the sensory noise, right? If you think about the sheer amount of information coming into the brain, you're gonna need to silence a good amount of that, and it looks like the DLPFC plays the largest role in that, but it's not an exclusive role. Like if we rotate this over, this right here is called the anterior cingulate cortex. It does a very similar job to the DLPFC in regards to managing distractions. It's just that it doesn't do it quite as effectively and in the same way. To put this as simply as possible, imagine yourself in a busy classroom. You're part of a group of students working to solve a problem, but your task is to find a specific piece of information buried inside a textbook. Your ability to quiet the environment around you and all those distractions and focus your attention on the words directly in front of you is partly a product of your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex inhibiting those non-relevant signals. Now, this is a quick aside, but I find it super interesting. The DLPFC has also been shown to be involved in ruminating for depressed individuals. So ruminating is where you're just like thinking about something over and over, just running through your mind. And so what this is showing us is that the DLPFC can be so good at quieting the external environment that it can also be, I guess, I don't know if that quite classifies as pathological. I think ruminating can be good in certain situations, but I think we all understand in a depressed state, ruminating is probably not the best thing to be doing, especially if it's just nonstop. But it just goes to show that, I mean, it's that good, right? It's just the entire world just starts to fade away and you're just focused on that one thing, just running it over and over in your mind. But another reason why the DLPFC's ability to quiet the external environment is so interesting to me is something that I alluded to earlier. And that was the brain, or specifically the DLPFC, doesn't fully mature until you're 25 years old.
Yeah.
So you
what I'm
can't help
waiting
but
on,
wonder, or at
yeah.
least I can't, you know, what experiences in our youth or the role models that we're surrounding ourselves with, such as parents and teachers, how all of that impacts our ability to focus on those executive functions. Before we get deeper into the neuroscience of focus, I want to take a quick moment and thank the sponsor of today's video.
Oh,
My
well,
daughter is being treated
thank
for
you.
leukemia.
So
It hit me hard. It did.
imagine sitting at, let me see, I'm in my 30s. You see what I'm saying? Sitting in at 36 years old and saying, hey, my brain just started fully being mature at 10 years ago. Now, that to me okay, so as I'm going along, that to me, it's plugging all of my gaps. Like, oh, that's why, that's why I felt like that. That's why I did that. That's why I ain't know that. Or was looking at that like that. That plugs all of my gaps right there. I'm like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it. It may hit others a bit harder than that, but for me, having that bit of science behind, where my energy, where my focus is coming from, like not just some, I don't know how to explain it other than this, a vague understanding of, oh, well, you think and then you just got to stop yourself. No, I got some actual, we were looking at a brain right there. You see what I'm saying? And they pointed to the area. Well, it's this area. Okay, well, maybe if I need to focus, I'll start rubbing this part of my head, and that'll help me to get a little bit more focused. Or, might relieve my focus depending on the way I'm thinking. That bit of information changes the way that I'm able to operate. All right, so now we got the neuroscience of focus. Let me see. Let's look at another video of the flow state. Teach y'all, if y'all didn't know about accessing that flow state, let's just get that reactivated in our mind.
Science shows there's a simple way to enter a flow state, and it's called the 4% rule.
If you want to grow in any field, you want to be able to enter flow states where you are so engrossed in your work that you are growing, you're getting better, and you are excited about the work you do. And there's a simple rule for this. Always ensure that the projects you're working on are roughly 4% harder than what you think you're capable of. The 4% harder rule puts you in just the right zone where the project.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. It's good to see y'all. For those of y'all that's in here still and decided to stick around, listen, yes, I can see chat. It's just, that's why the starting screen is there. It's just to kind of get you in here, get you ready to go for what we're going to do today. You understand? So on Tech Tuesday today, the topic is, yes, I'm still here. I done came back for another week, another round. Nothing, yeah. You understand me? So let's go ahead and get y'all some motivation for today, all right? Let's see what Tupac say. Tupac. You get a Tupac. You get a Tupac and a little bit of burgers, huh? You get a little bit of fries there with it, huh? Let me get a little bit of the Tupac and a soda, huh? You got a little bit of that root beer? Tupac sounds like a menu item, you know? Let me get a little bit of Tupac and a Diet Coke, huh? You don't like a Diet Coke and give you something else. Get a Coke and a smile, huh? That's stupid. Let me get this off here. All right, here we go. What's the matter with you?
I can't explain why I shine and no one else shines. I think everybody shines in different things. And a lot of things I can't do. I can't play basketball like every other black person in America. But I can act. I know how to go to that true spot in myself because I'm there every day. I can be me. I can be whoever because I'm true to me. I can go to neutral easily.
Nah, it's not
A lot of
pre-recorded.
people, black, white, Mexican, young or old,
Oh,
fat
that's
or
the
skinny,
same
have a
chat.
problem being true to themselves. They have a problem looking in the mirror and looking directly into their own souls. The reason I sell 6 million records, the reason I could go to jail and come out without a scratch, the reason I can walk around, the reason I am who I am today is because I can look directly into my face and find my soul. It's there. It's not sold. I didn't sell it. It's still within me. I still feel it. My heart is still connected to my body. So I could, any character, I'm going to bring that intensity, that truth, that honesty to it because I have to repay for that blessing from Black Jesus, from God. I have to pay for that by shining. If he give you the voltage and you waste it,
Yes,
that's
sir.
the curse. He gave me the voltage, I'm a shine. It's not mine, it's from
Yes,
God,
sir.
it's God. Not that it's so special that nobody got it, but all of our gifts and blessings and our strengths and our weaknesses come from God. Come from Black Jesus or whoever comes from within you, you know what I mean? So it's not really tricky. Everybody can do it if they just can go to that spot. I guess all the things that happened to me in my life allow me to go there easier. Now, if you're not dark inside and you come to this world, it'll turn you dark. You know what I'm saying? And so, if you really have sunshine in you, it's not good to play in the dark. It's just gonna extinguish your fire.
Yes,
Believe
sir.
in yourself and don't let nobody stop you from doing
Yes,
what you
sir.
gotta do. You gotta have faith.
Yes, sir.
If you can't find faith in the world, find faith in God, find faith in yourself, but you gotta
Yes, sir.
In retrospect,
Yes, sir.
how would you say that your life has been? What would you say about your life? How would you define it?
I would say it's been like a test on my faith. You know what I'm saying? You know how, I guess his name was Job in the Bible, who God just did all of this crazy stuff to him just to make sure his faith was straight. And that's how it was. It made me, if I didn't have all of this stuff, I don't think that my feet would have been so firm to where I could stand up for anything, you know, and I would be less ready to deal with what's out there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish. And because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it. I don't know how to change it.
Yes,
but I
sir.
know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
Yes, sir.
People can tell you, you know, don't do this.
I'm
don't
gonna
do
listen to that
but
last piece.
My whole mind state is that if we don't ever go outside of the boundaries, we will never change anything, we will never begin anything, we will never start anything. We'll just keep talking about the people who did it once and told us not to go outside the thing. That's just like them telling Christopher Columbus that the world is flat. You know what I mean? I'm doing the same thing. They're telling me you can't do this. You can only rap. And if you rap, you can only rap about this. And then you can't act. And if you act, you can only do the black films. And, you know, you can't be you can't be an artist or a celebrity and go out still. And you can't be an artist and still have fun and still be true. I don't like that. So I try to go outside the boundaries. Sometimes it's effective and it's positive. Sometimes it's negative and it blows up in my face.
You could be one kind of an artist, or you could be another kind of an artist. I want to be an exceptional artist, and I want to be here for the longevity. You know, I want to, when it's over, I want it to be more than just for the beats and the bass lines. I want it to be for something. I want to stand for something, you know? I don't want to be just a regular statistic, you know what I'm saying? I want to break the mold. So while everybody's saying how they can't do it, I want to do it. And then when I watch everybody do it, then I go back to thugging fully again. You know?
All right, y'all. I hope y'all feel motivated today. Just off of that, don't let my mellow voice fool you. I'm very, very highly motivated. All right, so it's Tech Tuesday, and you know, really throughout the years, throughout the changes in technology, you kind of look back and you be like, dang, you remember it was like this? We done did that a couple times here on Expansion Pack. All right, let's do it again. Is this my good bandana? That is. That look like my good bandana. Gotta make another one anyway. All right. So, what tech is still around today. Nah. Hold up. Hold on. Oldest surviving tech. Let me see this.
The oldest tech thing in my collection, well, I mean, is it this IBM? Nope, that's from 1997. How about this Packard Bell? No, that's 91. The C64C, that's 86. The Amiga 500, that is 87. The Mac Plus,
Look at all
86.
of these, though.
The Apple IIe, no, it's 1983. What about one of my TVs? No, they're all still new. What about this HP 85? No, that's 1980. Okay, game system. The Nintendo, 85. Nah, the SNES, 91.
No, that's
not quite. What about something else? I know what it is. It is the Atari. This version, the Light 6 switch version from 1979. Is that it? No, it's not. It's this radio. But it's a cool radio. It's from 1966. It's got 10 transistors. Yeah.
Hey, the radio was the oldest thing. That's right. Hold up. The oldest computer in the world still working. Let me see.
If your laptop crashes after 2 years, you'll want to hear about this machine. It was built before the internet, and it's still running. Meet the Harwell Decatron, also called the Witch. Built in the early 1950s, this beast was designed to
Harwell.
crunch numbers for scientists. It's made of thousands of
Decatron.
mechanical relays and glowing tubes.
I want to see this. I don't need to hear the AI dude tell me about it. I want to see it myself.
Hello, I am Wayne State University head baseball coach.
Nope. They ain't even got it in there. Hold up. Harwell Decatron computer. Is that it? Let's see. Let me get y'all this big screen real quick.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
The time has actually come, Derwin.
Yo.
Can you actually run a program for us?
I hope so.
Right.
So we're going to
Look at this.
So we'll let it run. Now you can see a row of 9s appearing in the accumulator.
Yo. That remind me of this remind me of Quantum Leap. The little computer you be talking to. Oh, it's
Now
typing.
that's being printed out on the printer.
Hold up. I want to see that. I want to see more of that. Well, they ain't give me nothing.
Was the Witch. Now, we're very lucky that the machine at Wolverhampton was championed by one of the staff members there, Cecil Ramsbottom. And Cecil wrote papers, notes, manuals, really got the press involved and got lots and lots of pictures. Any opportunity he could, got the press involved to take pictures of the machine. And that's now an invaluable resource. Actually, if that hadn't happened, that whole period would have been lost. One of the photographs that always appears whenever this machine's talked about from Wolverhampton is one of the masters and one of the students standing in front of the machine examining a piece of tape in the most incredible detail. The master was a chap called Frank Hawley, who looks like he's seen a vision in this paper tape, and the chap next to him was a young grammar school chap from Wolverhampton Grammar School, but this chap was Peter Burden, and Peter's with us today.
The college was organising something called Commonwealth Technical Training Week, and we wanted to get some publicity.
Look at him.
Now, at this stage, I'd already done a computer program for a local company designing keys and Professor Chubbs, and it was a nice application of the which it chugged away over 2 or 3 weekends.
Wait.
Something called Commonwealth Technical Training.
So they used, so now don't get it, hold on, because I be having just talk for 2 seconds because I ain't just doing this for my health. Don't get it twisted. I'm showing this because we still using a form of this device today. All right, it get your input. It be like and give you your output. That's what they looking at on the tape right there. Do you have something that can do that? Yeah, you got a phone, but its root comes from the little thing going. So listen up. I mean, listen. And the dude right here, I think the guy on the left, in this picture, is the guy that's about to speak. So he was young man, now he old man. He seen all of this grow, and he said he was using this machine, and it had applications that it could actually do, like he just said, making keys for a local company.
Is with us today.
The college was organising something called Commonwealth Technical Training Week, and we wanted to get some publicity for that. Now, at this stage, I'd already done a computer program for a local company designing keys and for Messrs. Chubbs, and it was a nice application of the which it chucked away over 2 or 3 weekends doing that. So this was an obvious thing to hang the publicity on, and the Mountain Express and Star came around and said, we'll have a photograph of you doing that. And I got involved with the machine through there was an evening class for
and look at them wheels or
lecture for local science sixth forms, and I was about it. I was hyped after that one Thursday evening in November 60, I think it was, and
when this came
after
out,
about an hour, they said, well, that's how the machines work. Come and have a go, chaps. And never having even thought about computer programs.
Right. Hold up, I'm gonna sub them up. Hold on. This was 12 years ago. Dang.
Before, within an hour and a half, I was actually doing it. We
doing it, right.
To work out e to the x, the first 3 terms of the series. I remember doing that.
But as Peter said, by 1973, the college had moved on and bought commercial systems as well. And the machine finds itself redundant again. And again, could have been scrapped. But actually, part of the work, because of Cecil Ramsbottom, he arranged 2 things. He got in touch with the Guinness Book of Records at the time and had the machine listed as the world's most durable computer, the longest living computer.
Right.
And that's a record which we believe still holds.
I wonder.
Cecil also arranged that the machine wouldn't be lost and would go to Birmingham Science Museum, Birmingham Museum of Science and Industry. Now, this is where I get involved, because I'm in late 1970, well, 77, 78, I was a sort of geeky teenager, not that the word geek had ever been invented or thought about, but spent every Saturday afternoon at Birmingham Science Museum, and I knew absolutely everything that was on display.
Word.
And a whole group of us knew more about the artifacts on display than any of the curators knew. And I spent hours staring at this machine, but then jumping ahead really 30 years. And at that point, I'm a trustee of this museum. We're getting this museum going, and also a member of the Computer Conservation Society. And that's an organisation
those
in
two
the UK
coupled
that's
together.
responsible for rescuing and saving machines and building replica machines. And I was looking through a series of pictures that were taken at a storage centre in Birmingham by a colleague of mine, Chris Burton, who's with us today, and saw in the corner of a picture
this computer,
the control panel of the computer. Everything else had been dismantled. It had been quite thoroughly, completely dismantled. But I saw the control panel. I thought, oh, actually, I know that. I know exactly what that is. And that triggered really my going back to finding notes, actually going back to see my mum to get the notes that I kept, which she'd kept, of course, and I got all of these notes. And a whole series of visits between myself and the rest of the team.
I bet.
Tony Fraser and Johan at that stage. We went back to Birmingham and scoured the whole place. We found, I think at that point, probably about 90% of the machine throughout that collection centre. And that machine, that was then brought back to
and then make it run
here, 2009, and started the process of restoration. Delwyn.
Excuse me.
I've talked about the machine getting here. What state was the machine in?
Well, as
I'm
you
gonna
can
skip
imagine,
forward because I really want to see this.
Storage, everything was very
Let me see how it works.
for its next job.
This is what your type A brain after 2 p.m. sounds like.
So, stuff like this, it may not be fascinating to everybody across the board, but I really I'm enjoying this because I use a computer every day in some form or fashion. How it gets to the things and decides and calculates the way it does, I don't specifically know. And so I like to learn.
Right, 3.3333 multiplied
Hold
by
on.
3.
Let's see how it works.
That's going to.
Right.
Certainly going to try. It's been working fine all day. I'm sure it will be great.
Yeah.
So first of all, we'll enter an instruction to start the program off. So now it starts to read from the paper tape reader.
Hold on.
Delwyn, I've talked about
the Center. For those not familiar with it, which I imagine most of you are not, it's called a perforator, and what it does is it allows you to type out program code, and that's punched onto punch tape.
Punch tape.
So
yep, I figured they had some sort of tape
with it, which I imagine most of you are not.
Let me see.
The collection. And earlier, Kevin, that we found on a subsequent visit to.
Y'all ever seen Hidden Figures? If you ever seen Hidden Figures, the same type of input output mechanism is in the IBM computer that they send over. That my girl go in there and she like, I know how to do it already. Hold on, y'all. All right, there we go. Like I was saying, this is important to me.
The collection center. For those not familiar with it, which I imagine most of you are not,
okay,
it's called a perforator, and what it does is it allows you to type out program code, and that's punched onto punch tape. So this is what a punch tape looks like, the sort that the machine uses. It has 5 holes, and the pattern of holes that's punched out on each column there represents an instruction that the machine is going to operate on. Once you've punched out your program, you will then load it into the selection of paper tape readers that you can see here. So this is one of them here. So moving on from the tape readers, come over here. We mentioned relays earlier. You can see we've removed 2 of the covers so you can see the relays. All of these covers contain relays.
What are they?
These relays are the same type that we used in telephone exchanges in the 1940s, 50s, and of course very reliable, very well built. And unfortunately they're also mainly the reason that the machine does operate quite slowly, because arithmetic is which we touched on earlier. So these are decatrons here. In fact, I'll point at the brighter ones. They're actually all on. I don't know if you can see that. There's 2 different types of decatron here. And if you look at a row of stores across here, you can see exactly the number that the machine is storing. But it really does mean that it's very easy to actually just look at the machine and see what it's doing. It's really like looking inside the machine in terms of the operation. Once you've run your program and you want to get results out, that's done over here, and we've got 2 output devices. Under this cover, you've got what we call a reperforator, and that punches the results out onto paper tape, exactly as the paper tape is fed into the machine. So you would do that if you wanted to, if you were printing out intermediate results that you want to then feed back into the computer. The other thing we have is a printer. Might not look much like a printer for anyone unfamiliar with 1940s technology. These peripherals, I should say, they're both much older than the rest of the machine. They're actually 1940s technology, and we think that they were to hand at the time, and they were specially modified at Harwell to work with the machine.
The time has actually come, Darwin. Can you actually run a program for us?
I hope so.
Yeah, run a
program. It's been working fine all day. I'm sure it will be great.
Yeah.
So first of all, we'll enter an instruction to start the program off. So now it starts to read from the paper tape reader. Now it's now stopped and is prompting me for input. I'm going to give it the first number to be multiplied. And if you keep an eye on the stores, that's going to go into this top store here, which has been cleared to 0.
So that's that one.
I'm going to put in 333 and so on, and you can see that's going to roughly a 3 o'clock position. Now it's being printed out. This, by the way, illustrates the speed at which the machine operates each digit. So now the second number, I'm going to put in 3.0. Okay, now what's going to happen in a moment, we've got our two numbers to multiply. The result, as I said, will go into the accumulator here. So first of all, that will be cleared, and then the machine will do its multiplication operation. And you'll actually be able to see it forming the answer one digit at a time as it goes. So we'll let it run. Now you can see a row of 9s appearing in the accumulator. And now that's being printed out on the printer.
For me, I ain't gonna lie to you.
When the program completes,
I would have to
green
go.
light comes on to tell you that everything is good and finished and it's ready.
I would
for its
have to
next
go
job.
ground level with this. Like, what I mean is, I would have to go, like, show me how each individual piece worked from the start. First, we got to talk theory. 'Cause that's amazing to me. I guess I'm one of them people that would be clapping in there.
Apparently 3.3333 multiplied by 3 is 9.9999.
Yeah. Would have thought it.
Bart Foster, you mentioned earlier about a chap called Jack Howlett.
All right. I want to see something else then. We watched enough of that. Hold on. I gotta see this then. Let me learn something today. This is 18 minutes, but
at Full Sail, our technology programs are
most likely it's worth it.
Is a transistor. It's one of the most important devices ever to be invented. So we're going to learn how they work in detail in this video. Transistors come in many shapes and sizes. There are two main types, the bipolar and the field effect. We're going to mostly focus on the bipolar version in this video. Transistors are small electronic components with two main functions. It can act as a switch to control circuits, and they can also amplify signals. Small low-power transistors are enclosed in a resin case to help protect the internal parts, but higher power transistors will have a partly metal case, which is used to help remove the heat which is generated, as this will damage the components over time. We usually find these metal body transistors attached to a heatsink, which helps remove the unwanted heat. For example, inside this DC bench power supply, we have some MOSFET transistors which are attached to very large heatsinks. Without the heatsink, the components quickly reach 45 degrees Celsius, or 113 degrees Fahrenheit, with a current of just 1.2 amps. They will become much hotter as the current increases. But for electronic circuits with small currents, we can just use these resin body transistors, which do not require a heatsink. On the body of the transistor, we find some text. This will tell us the part number, which we can use to find the manufacturer's datasheet. Each transistor is rated to handle a certain voltage and current, so it's important to check these sheets. Now, with a transistor, we have 3 pins, labeled E, B, and C. This stands for the emitter, the base, and the collector. Typically, with these resin body type transistors with a flat edge, the left pin is the emitter, the middle is the base, and the right side is the collector. However, not all transistors use this configuration, so do check the manufacturer's datasheet. We know that if we connect a
Okay.
light bulb to a battery, it will illuminate. We can install a switch into the circuit and control the light by interrupting the power supply. But this requires a human to manually control the switch. So how can we automate this?
Right.
For that, we use a transistor. This transistor is blocking the flow of current, so the light is off. But if we provide a small voltage to the base pin in the middle, it causes the transistor to start allowing current to flow in the main circuit. So the light turns on. We can then place a switch on the controlling pin to operate it remotely, or we can place a sensor on this to automate the control. Typically, we need to apply at least 0.6 to 0.7 volts to the base.
Yo, hold on. Y'all probably can't even, you wouldn't even be able to predict what I'm about to say. I just found my next passion. Drawing and reading schematics. This is beautiful. That just was explained to me very, very, very well.
For the transistor to turn on. For example, this simple transistor circuit for the transistor to turn 0.6 to 0.7 volts to the base pin for the transistor to turn on. For example, this simple transistor circuit has a red LED and a 9-volt power supply across the main circuit. The base pin is connected to the DC bench power supply. The circuit diagram looks like this. When the supply voltage to the base pin is 0.5 volts, the transistor is off, so the LED is also off. At 0.6 volts, the transistor is on, but not fully. The LED is dim because the transistor is not yet letting the full current flow through the main circuit. Then, at 0.7 volts, the LED is brighter because the transistor is letting almost the full current through. And at 0.8 volts, the LED is at full brightness. The transistor is fully open. So what's happening is we're using a small voltage and current to control a larger voltage and current. We saw that a small change to the voltage on the base pin.
Yo, that is okay. Let me see if I can break it down in layman's terms without being long-winded. So imagine you have a lot of something, and you don't want it all to go to waste out there. So you figured out a way to routinely schedule how much you want to go out, so you can measure how much you have. Basically, you open the switch a small amount so that the larger amount can flow through, and which in turn you create the slider effect, I want to call it, to where you control in intervals how much you get, how much voltage you get. That is beautiful.
Causes a large change on the main circuit. Therefore, if we input a signal to the base pin, the transistor acts as an amplifier.
Right.
We could connect a microphone which varies the voltage signal on the base pin, and this will amplify a speaker in the main circuit to form a very basic amplifier. Typically, there is a very small current on the base pin.
It's just... So basically, when you are seeing your LED lights and they moving because of music, each bit of voltage from your music is starting that current, slowing that current. Oh man.
Milliamps or even less.
More papers.
The collector has a much higher current, for example, 100 milliamps. The ratio between these two is known as the current gain and uses the symbol beta. We can find the ratio in the manufacturer's datasheet. In this example, the collector current is 100 milliamps and the base current is 1 milliamp. So the ratio is 100 divided by 1, which gives us 100. We can also rearrange this formula to find the currents also.
Now, hold on. Let me let that commercial play. Now, y'all know I ain't been recently just running videos. That's not what we do. We pretty much have a topic we got, and we talking about it. We doing what we doing. This though, oh yeah, I ain't gonna get me off of this today. I need to learn as much as I can, and so do you. If you don't care, leave. All right.
We have two main types of bipolar transistors, the NPN and the PNP
I am gonna
type.
go forward some.
So we need to check the part number to tell which is which. With an NPN transistor, we have the main circuit and the control circuit. Both are connected to the positive of the battery. The main circuit is off until we press the switch on the control circuit. We can see the current is flowing through both wires to the transistor. We can remove the main circuit, and the control circuit LED will still turn on when the switch is pressed, as the current is returning to the battery through the transistor. In this simplified example, when the switch is pressed, there are 5 milliamps flowing into the base pin. There are 20 milliamps flowing into the collector pin, and 25 milliamps flowing out of the emitter. The current therefore combines in this transistor. With a PNP transistor, we again have the main circuit and the control circuit. But now the emitter is connected to the positive of the battery. The main circuit is off until we press the switch on the control circuit. We can see with this type that some of the current flows out of the base pin and returns to the battery.
Okay.
The rest of the current flows through the transistor and through the main LED and then back to the battery. If we remove the main circuit, the control circuit LED will still turn on. In this example, when the switch is pressed, there are 25 milliamps flowing into the emitter, 20 milliamps flowing out of the collector, and 5 milliamps flowing out of the base. The current therefore divides in this transistor. I'll place these side by side so you can see how they compare. Transistors are shown on electrical drawings with symbols like these. The arrow is placed on the emitter. The arrow points in the direction of conventional current, so that we know how to connect them into our circuits.
All right.
To understand how a transistor works, I want you to first imagine water flowing through a pipe. It flows freely through the pipe until we block it with a disc. Now, if we connect a smaller pipe into the main one and place a swing gate within this small pipe, we can move the disc using a pulley. The further the swing gate opens, the more water is allowed to flow in the main pipe. The swing gate is a little heavy, so a small amount of water won't be enough to open it. A certain amount of water is required to force the gate to open. The more water we have flowing in this small pipe, the further the valve opens and allows more and more water to flow in the main pipe. This is essentially how an NPN transistor works. You might already know that when we design electronic circuits, we use conventional current. So in this NPN transistor circuit, we assume that the current is...
Okay, now they lost me. But that is... Okay, everything that we got is running on transistors. Everything that we got is being operated with transistors. So I'm not going to say that word again. I've said it a million times. This is a good Tech Tuesday. I like learning. All right, let's learn some more. Let's see some fun stuff. Yes, use of... Okay, let's see. What happened? I didn't get what happened. Just cutting it made it come on. Let me see. I don't want to see no more explanations. Let's put in one more word to this. Best modern. The invention that changed the world. We know that now. Nope. Can't see that. But I will look at this. Let's look at this then. How many minutes you got on this? They'll tax the hell out of us for that how it's made video. Where was it at? All right, let's go.
Gasping, feeling exhausted.
Did you know that today's CPUs can contain over 90 billion transistors, each smaller than a virus particle, yet powerful enough to execute billions of calculations every second? Often called the brain of a computer, the Central Processing Unit, CPU, processes instructions, performs calculations, and manages virtually all data flow within a computer system. Companies like Intel and AMD produce CPUs so advanced that a single chip, smaller than your fingernail, is more powerful than the supercomputers that first sent astronauts to the moon. Today, join Captain Discovery on an exciting adventure into the heart of technology as we explore how CPUs, the powerful brains of our computers, are made and how they work. From incredible clean rooms larger than football fields to microscopic transistors thousands of times smaller than a human hair, we'll uncover each fascinating step behind creating these tiny yet mighty chips. And don't forget to like and subscribe to
We did all that. Hold up. Let's go forward some.
The history of
Never mind.
CPUs began when Intel created the first microprocessor, the Intel 4004, in
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. 1971.
Wasn't that close to when you were born?
No. I was born 18 years later.
And this
Don't ever tell me that stuff be new. It's just a. If I could go back, I don't even know what to say to that, because I as a kid I thought stuff was new. Like I'm like, yo, this is na. And now as I'm getting older, I'm like, yo, they've been doing this for a while.
Opened the door for smaller, powerful computers. Soon after, Intel released the 8086 chip, which became the foundation for IBM's first personal computer in 1981, transforming the computing industry. Throughout the 1980s, Intel continued improving CPUs by launching the 80286 and 80386 processors, which offered better speed and multitasking abilities. IBM, meanwhile, expanded their personal computer market by utilizing these advanced chips, making PCs more affordable and accessible. In the 1990s, Intel introduced the Pentium processor.
Look at that. I remember that
boosting
one.
Computing performance with advanced multimedia capabilities. IBM competed by developing the PowerPC architecture in partnership with Motorola and Apple, aiming to challenge Intel's dominance. Since the 2000s, Intel has advanced CPU technology with core processors featuring higher efficiency and reduced power consumption. Although IBM shifted its focus
And we know
away
where
from
it's at
personal
now.
computers, the company still innovates with high-performance chips for supercomputers and servers. The CPU manufacturing process starts with refining quartzite into extremely pure silicon through intense
Look,
heating and
here you go.
chemical
That's what I like to
purification.
hear.
Starts with refining The CPU manufacturing process starts with refining quartzite into extremely pure silicon through intense heating and chemical purification. This silicon achieves an incredible purity level of 99.9999999%, known as 9N purity. Next, the purified silicon is melted and carefully grown into a cylindrical crystal
They don't show
called
none
an
of that.
ingot, which can weigh over 100 kilograms. These ingots are sliced into thin silicon wafers, typically 300 millimeters in diameter.
I wanna
each
see one.
around 0.75 millimeters thick, thinner than a credit card.
There's one. Look at that.
A single wafer costs about $100 initially, but after processing and populating it with CPUs, companies like Intel can increase its value dramatically, up to $100,000 per wafer, making it significantly more valuable by weight than gold. Next, the wafer is coated evenly with a thin, light-sensitive material called photoresist, spun onto its surface at high speeds.
Now, hey, wait. Skirt.
Your LC is one thing, but looking organized, official, and ready to run your business, that's a whole different ballgame.
Girl, shut up. Ain't nobody trying to see that right now. I'm trying to get back to the computer, girl. Hey, so look, check it.
Surface at high speeds.
Skirt. Now, if you've been watching this episode this entire time, you've been here since the beginning and saw the computer that we saw on the screen, the old computer that we just saw, and they was talking to us about. Oh, look how far we have come. Now, me personally, I can't fathom. But I haven't been working in the area. You see what I'm saying? I haven't been working in this field. I haven't been working in this industry. And so I'm just a layman. And me looking at this right here, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? And here in the wafer, you like, man, I need to get into them wafer selling, man. Make a wafer, get it off for $100K. But that's not how it works. And then somebody else who is familiar is saying, yeah, that's your carburetor, your spindle tube down there. You just get it and you rewire. I'm not familiar with none of it. Now, can you see why it's necessary to be familiar with it? Because I could write 1,000,000 software programs, but not know how one of these wafers is made, one of these chips is made that I'm running the software on. Well, I guess you could just get what you need and get on up out of here if you really wanted to.
UV light shines through precise stencils known as photomasks, imprinting microscopic circuit.
Look at my man. Look at my man. Look.
Surface.
This is good. This is good. This is good. He know what he looking at. And guess what? He knows that this, which he is creating in his lab, is going to be used by millions, billions in the entire planet who can get their hands on it and who have a use for it. It's not just going to be him making it and then be like, I hope it sells. Like old girl with the LLC commercial just now. He looking in there doing diligent work creating computer chips that we all going to put on our use with and look at TikTok. What up, Joyce? How you feeling today? Good to see you, girl. Joyce Adderton, 1840. Bye.
$300,000, highlighting how expensive and critical this step is to CPU manufacturing.
Oh, I don't know.
The patterns created are extremely small.
I don't know, Mom. Okay. Hey, Joyce, good to see you.
Measuring just a few nanometers.
I missed that last
times
piece.
Thinner than a human hair.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I chose the wrong field.
Step is to CPU manufacture 300 CPU chip. Each photomask costing companies like Intel approximately. This crucial step is repeated around 80 times per CPU chip. Each photomask costing companies like Intel approximately $300,000, highlighting how expensive and critical this step is to CPU manufacturing. The patterns created are extremely small, measuring just a few nanometers, thousands of times thinner than a human hair. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to subscribe to Captain Discovery.
And I have. So with every last one of us having a phone, well, most of us that are in the modern society having televisions, and anything that uses these chips, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. If you cannot understand how they work, it is a wrap. You will always send your products away to get them fixed. You will always buy the new one. You will always get rid of the old one if it's not serving you a purpose. I like this place that we in. Let me eat that star. I like this place that we in, to be honest with y'all. I'm not going to complain. I don't want to complain. This is good. I didn't have to do none of the legwork. I got a phone that's running off that silicone chip wafer, and I could call my brother, them, my cousin, the people down the street. People can, if I wanted to go somewhere, they can fly, and all the electronics in the plane is gonna run off that computer chip. So thank you, people who made the computer chip. Now the people that live in the bush and don't worry about the computer chip. Hey, I cherish that living too. But I know there's another place that they're using the computer chip. And I feel like moderation is gonna be and I'm gonna get on a little slight tangent. I feel like moderation is gonna be the new thing. Because if you stand under bright light all day, you're gonna look for a little shade. If you in the shade all the time, that light out in the distance might be something that's of wonder to you. That might be something that you might want to reach for. And so moderation, balance is gonna be necessary for it all, because you can't just be out here computing and sending super chips, microchips everywhere. People dumb. And we don't understand what you're doing. So guess what? Somebody out there gonna want to take it down. We don't want that, because we don't understand them and you ain't teaching us about it. It gotta be something there. And then on the other side, you gonna have the people who want to keep on making it, keep on doing it, because it is bringing wealth and health and prosperity into their life. Keep on doing it. They're gonna be like, you stupid, you dumb, because you don't want this. That's the analogy I just gave of the light and the dark. So what I would say is, there's no one there in the middle that can say, hey, do this, don't do that right now. But it will be. So I appreciate y'all for kicking it with me on another episode of Expansion Pack. We're going to do a little bit more fun here today and watch just a taste of how something is made. And then I'm going to get out of here.
Dan, can I fix eggs and sausage for us?
Hey, was you going out there to use the bathroom? Go ahead. Hey, I didn't say get up, though. That's my guy. He smell the food. He know what's going on. All right, here we go. Let's go. Oh, no, I got to put on the Creative Commons. Eli, you didn't shut the door. I want to get a good video in here for us just to watch it happening. But you know how they do. They gonna tack me with the copyright. So hold on. I don't want to see no long, super long video. We just need a simple. Oh, the first computers, vacuum tubes. I'm gonna watch that on my own time. How transistors do math. See, look, y'all behind. You slacking on your pimping. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a copyright real quick just for a taste. You know, computers were made in the 1960s, and this is usually watch his voice when it come on.
This is a first look at the current industry leading.
The first computers used to be the size of an entire room. Then they were built to fit on your desk. The newest design is a portable device that sits on your lap. And today's laptops are made even smaller and more powerful than ever.
I just want to see
the wiring for the electronic components that will be
this.
soldered to the board. This machine places a stencil of the component layout onto the board and applies solder paste through the openings.
Look at that.
A quality inspection camera photographs the solder paste and sends the images to a computer. The computer analyzes them, looking for any missing paste, misalignment, or other mistakes. If the board passes inspection, it passes through 15 robotic machines, each of which places up to 150 components on the correct locations
at
on
that.
the board in just 30 seconds.
In 30
The
seconds.
board runs through an oven that melts the solder paste, connecting the components to the board.
Hey.
Another camera inspection ensures that the internal
We're going to go forward
processor
just a little bit more. Look at that motherboard.
A
Hey,
visual
look, check this out.
inspection
Check this out.
or shifted out of position. After function testing and a visual inspection, the motherboard moves to the assembly line and
All
is
right.
set aside for the time being.
Boom.
Next,
That's what I was waiting on. Y'all were, hey, if anybody worried about uh, 2 years, no. No. You will be doing things of service to maybe survive, to live, so that you can get something in return. But will you have a job? No. The reason why, because look at that thing. You're not doing that. You won't even put the box on the shelf. I won't put the box on the shelf. I sometimes don't want to show up for this show. If they could automate me, they would. Hey man, just send Otto Dan out there. He awesome. Look at these people. Look what they put together. Watch what they put together. Watch what parts they put together. Oh, they already hit me with the warning. Look, detected the copyright. I'm gonna give y'all 2 seconds of it. Watch.
technicians manually assemble the top half of the laptop, called the panel kit.
The panel kit. I want you all to know that yes, what they are putting together, I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna go through it some. I'm gonna go over to the big screen because I'm about to close out for today. What they are showing, what they are doing, yes, this is the computer. All right, but it is not the computer. Okay, so you save your hands, raise your babies with your hands. That's my final conclusion, just to be off on a tangent. Because your hands ain't about to touch and put together none of these devices or nothing like that. It's a beep, beep, beep robot for that. All right, y'all. Tech Tuesday has been amazing for me. I learned so much. I learned what's really in charge. This has been another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. I'm glad that y'all actually take the time out of y'all day to come in here because it's really helping me to grow. And so if anybody is getting anything out of this other than just me, that's a plus. Because I show up for me then. And you as well. But one day we can all go out and eat, have a nice meal together. And we'll be together. But tomorrow we're going to do it on Expansion Pack. And then Thursday and Friday. And so on and so forth. So y'all join me for the hour, all right? This is DGTA TV. Peace. In your scanner. Now, we're going to use the scanner and say that could be, I'm going to just talk it. I can't because I don't have enough space to write it in there. We're going to say your scanner right now is going to come in different forms. You're going to have it in different forms, and I will get into that when I start breaking down the steps to this thing here in a couple seconds. But that right there is your tools. Your scanner will come in different forms, but your computer and your hard drive will be the same. Now, what we are doing is we are changing the archive, physical archive physical. Why am I writing the R? Physical to electronic, which we know that the electronic medium is gonna still be some form of physical. It's gonna still be some form of a physical device, whether it be like your hard drive or your CD, but it's no longer inside that photo album. Okay, now let's get into this. I want us to go and hop over to a quick video on the current way that you can do this, because I don't want to give you the old school way for you to do this. I don't want to sit here and talk you through the old school way to do the scanning and sitting down and you gotta do. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch a video and see if they have a way for us to incorporate the current technology that we use, hence all of the scanning technology that you have built into your phone, all of the AI technology that you have, that you could just put your phone over a QR code and just, we're gonna see how high quality our phones and our tech is right now to be able to transfer our old photo albums into digital albums quickly and effectively. All right, effective way to create digital photo album from old photos. There you go. Let's see what they got. Now this is gonna be good. Let's see what she got, because she might have the same way that I was gonna say.
Digitizing photo albums was not on my radar until this summer, when forest fires got so close to my home that the air outside
4 years ago
was difficult to breathe because of the smoke. Charlie and I decided to get ready before we got a notice to evacuate. And guess what was number one on my list? My photos, even though a lot of them were already digitized. But then I saw the row of big, heavy Creative Memories photo albums on the shelf and realized none of them were digitized. I'm Linda Satgaz with FamilyHistoryHero.com, and I'm going to share 5 ways to digitize your old photo albums.
Don't y'all just love expansion pack? Don't y'all just love expansion pack? See, she did the work already, and we're gonna watch it here, and then we're gonna go over the benefits of doing this.
After the Oregon fires died down, and thankfully we never did have to leave, I was fired up, no pun intended, to get my photo albums digitized. I started with a set of 3 12 by 12 inch photo albums about a trip our family took around the USA back in the 90s. Here are the 5 methods I explored to digitize them, the advantages and disadvantage of each one, and the method I chose to digitize my albums. Solution number 1 is to hire a local or online company to scan the pages. On the positive side, a professional does the work for you, which saves you a ton of time and you actually get it done. On the negative side, you have to send your albums away, and it can be expensive if you have a lot of photo albums.
Yeah, ain't nobody
It'll
trying
cost
to do
somewhere
that.
between $1 and $2 per page. But if you'd rather let someone else do it and the cost isn't a problem, this could be a good solution for you.
Pause. So with this, I want y'all to know, and I hope y'all hearing me, you could build a whole company off of having storage alone and being storage space and being willing to do the time and legwork to scan someone else's old memories and make an archive for them.
Wink, wink. Obviously, there's value there, is what I'm saying.
Didn't personally try out this option, but I know other people who have, and they were happy with the results. Solution number 2 is to photograph the album pages. You can hand hold a camera or smartphone, but it's best to use a tripod, which is what I did, and I used a music stand to hold the pages. You'll want to avoid glare by positioning your page properly. I found that having light coming from the left and the right rather than directly onto the page worked the best for me. Then just photograph each page one at a time. On the positive side, if your light is good and your hand is steady or you use a tripod, you can get good photos. There's